Hi kids, welcome to Dixy Storytime World. Let's meet Aisha, the superhero princess. If you know how to read, try and read along with me. And if you are still learning how to read, still try and read along with me. Let's start. Aisha was a princess. She lived in a princess castle. She wore a princess dress. She had a princess crown. All of the grown-ups thought Aisha was the best princess they had ever seen. "Have you seen how nicely she walks?" they would ask. "She sings so sweetly," they would say. "How beautifully she plays the piano," they would exclaim. But Aisha wasn't just an ordinary princess. Hiding at the back of her wardrobe, there was a cape, a very special cape, a cape that turned Aisha, the princess, into Aisha, the superhero. Aisha, the superhero, could climb mountains. Aisha, the superhero, could sail ships. Aisha, the superhero, could fly planes. Aisha, the superhero, could do anything. One day, Aisha was sitting on her bed, listening to a storm howling outside, when suddenly Nanny's bloomers flew past the window and landed on the shed roof. "A mission!" Aisha cried, and she jumped down from her bed and raced to her wardrobe. Grabbing her superhero cape, she flew down the stairs and out into the garden. Nanny's bloomers were flapping in the wind like a flag on a pirate ship. Without hesitation, Aisha clambered up onto the shed roof and reached out to rescue the bloomers. Just then, her mum's voice boomed from the castle. "Aisha, princesses do not climb on sheds. Princesses practice playing the piano. Come back in at once." "But I don't want to be just a princess. I want to be a superhero princess." The next day, Aisha was playing in the garden when she saw that Tiger, the royal cat, was stuck in the middle of the biggest, deepest, muddiest puddle in the world. His paws were stuck in the gloop and he was sinking fast. Aisha quickly grabbed her superhero cape and, without a thought for her own safety, she waded into the oozing, squelching, thick mud. The mud seeped into her princess shoes and in between her toes. Squelch, squelch, squelch. It clung to her princess dress and to her legs. Gloopy, gloopy, gloop. The further she waded, the deeper the mud got. But Aisha carried on trudging through it to Tiger. As she reached him, the frightened cat jumped into her arms, covering her face and hands even more mud. Aisha turned around and began to trudge back out of the puddle. Just then, her dad's voice boomed from inside the castle. "Aisha, princesses do not wade through muddy puddles. Princesses practice singing sweetly. Come back in at once." "But I don't want to be just a princess. I want to be a superhero princess." One afternoon, Aisha was out shopping in town with her nanny. She was skipping along, her superhero cape flapping behind her in the breeze, when there was an enormous clatter. She turned to see a horse galloping through the town, its rider laying in a heap at the top of the road. As it careered through the busy street, it knocked over market stalls and scattered shoppers in all directions. Without stopping to think, Aisha ran in front of the horse. "Whoa!" she shouted. The horse skidded to a halt. She patted the horse's nose and, as quick as a flash, jumped up into the saddle. She turned the horse around and rode it back to its rider. Just then, her nanny's voice boomed. "Aisha, princesses do not ride horses. Princesses practice walking nicely. Come here at once." "But I don't want to be just a princess. I want to be a Superhero Princess! That night, Aisha was lying in bed listening to her father, the king, talking on the phone to some very important and very clever scientists. And the volcano is going to erupt? When? Tonight? Oh my! Aisha was needed now more than ever. She crept out of bed, grabbed her superhero cape, and silently climbed out of her window down to the ground. She tiptoed over to the barn where she kept her superhero superjet. She jumped into the pilot's seat and started the engine. She flew her jet high above the castle, high into the clouds. The clouds were thick and she could barely see where she was going, but there was no turning back. Eventually, she saw the volcano ahead of her. Hot, fiery rocks spewed out, shooting high into the sky. The rocks fell down towards the jet. Aisha swerved the plane and the rocks just missed her. That was close, she muttered. She landed her plane near to the volcano and grabbed her superhero, super volcano coolant that she had made for such emergencies. Now all she had to do was climb up the volcano. Eek! Oh my! As she climbed, hot, fiery rocks rained down from above. Aisha kept on climbing, avoiding the falling rocks until she reached the top. As she scrambled over the edge, the ground rumbled louder than thunder, nearly knocking her off. She steadied herself and took the supervolcano coolant from her pocket. Another loud rumble came from the ground. Quickly, Aisha took the lid off the supervolcano coolant and tipped the gooey liquid into the volcano. There was a very loud hiss as the supercoolant cooled the lava down. The eruption had been stopped. Aisha had saved the world. Hooray! The people of the world cheered. Hooray! All the scientists cheered. Aisha, princesses do not save the world, but superhero princesses do. Hooray! I am not just a princess. I am Aisha, the superhero princess. The end. Thanks, kids, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I'll see you soon in another adventure. Bye for now.